So I figured it was about time I done a review of ownership on my MT-125. So if you're watching this video, chances are you're contemplating buying a motorbike. Not just any motorbike. Motorcycle, motorbike, two-wheeler, whatever you want to call them. You're looking to buy a 125cc, and I couldn't highly recommend this Yamaha MT-125 enough. It's a first generation, I think they might call it, which was released in 2014. This is a 2016 model. It's on 17,028 miles. 5,000 of these I've done by myself, and every mile has been an utter joy, shall we say. It's great fun. It's a great wee bike. I'd looked at a few bikes when I was in the market for one, and I sort of sat on one and loved it, and that was a Honda CBR 125. Not the naked one, the faired one. It just felt perfect. But then I watched a lot of YouTube videos and seen how underpowered they were compared to the Yamis. And the Yamis have got almost 15 horsepower. We'll just call it 15 horsepower, but I think it's 14.8 in fact. And that's the top end of your scale if you're a CBT rider. It's the peak power is 15 horsepower. So in my opinion, try and buy one with 15 horsepower. So what drew me to the MT-125? Mostly the looks. I just like the look of it. It's quite a big bike for a wee bike, if you know what I mean. Even next to the Honda I spoke of there, it's just that wee bit bigger, bit more beefy in all aspects, not just power. So buy one. Check out all my videos on my channel. There's quite a lot of MT-125 stuff. I've done a 500 mile trip to Applecross and home without a hitch on this bike just a couple of months ago there. I've also been away for another camping trip. Done a easily 6-hour ride during the day that day, doing the Southwest 200. Again, a few episodes on my channel if you want to check them out. But if you're thinking of buying a YZF-R 125, I'd recommend looking at this as well. The Yamaha R125, the YZF-R 125, to call it its proper name, is a better looking bike. It just looks like a sports bike, you know. But underneath they're pretty much just an MT. Although the MT is pretty much the YZF-R because it was out first by about 5 or 6 years, I'm sure. So how does this bike handle? If that's one of the things that crosses your mind when buying a bike. And I do have a couple to compare it to at least, which are the Sinnis Terrain 125, and I done my CBT on that, so I had a day riding it. I was quite impressed with it, to be honest. It was quite a good wee bike. Certainly not as powerful as this. I think you're talking about 60 mile an hour top speed limit. In reality, that is. and it felt a bit bulkier than a small cc bike because of the panniers on it, the top box. And the other is the YZF-R 125 that I own myself, and it handles really well. It's a really good bike as well. But how do they compare to this? Oh no, this is probably a better bike than both the others I mentioned. It's got that wee bit more power than the Sinnis Terrain. It's nice and manoeuvrable. It's comfy. Don't get me wrong, after how long was it? Took me from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6:45 at night. I was virtually in the saddle the whole time. My ass was fine by the time I got to Applecross. Then the following day it was, I think it was 8.5 hours. A bit quicker. And that was the Sunday we came home. On the Monday I felt a bit tender in the rear end, shall we say. This has got a comfort seat on it as well. But nobody builds these bikes to do them sort of trips. These bikes are built for commuting to work, believe it or not, which many use them for. I've used it a couple of times myself, but only working about 1.5 miles away from my house. Bit pointless, you end up going a run before work, which is far from pointless. With regards to reliability, this wouldn't start this morning. No dash, clocks, lights, anything. Battery just completely dead. So I think a new battery is in order. I had a new battery, or I stuck a new battery on it myself a couple of months back. Just after a few times I went to start it, it was just dead and had to bump start it. Couldn't see anything for the sun there. So I just thought I'll just buy a new battery for it. It was like £20. I think it was actually only £19, believe it or not. So pretty cheap. The main thing that I've got wrong with mine now is the dash reset button. It's just stopped clicking. And you press the select one, it clicks, and the reset one used to click as well, and it's just stopped working. I had it down to Yamaha. They had a quick look at it and they reckon it needs a whole new like cluster. £460, something like that, and that wasn't fitted, that was just supplied, although I don't imagine it's much of a job to fit it. But who's going to spend that on a bike that's worth a couple of grand? It makes no economical sense. So you can't reset, or you can't change the time of the clock, you can't reset the service, and the oil thing, where is it? Distance to service, it says 2,480 miles at the minute. That's since its last service allegedly, but it was serviced about 1,000 miles ago. So there's not really, you really need to keep the book. I've got the book anyway. I didn't get one with this bike, but I managed to source a duplicate from the dealer that it was purchased from. So I've got a service book now. It's got a couple of services from the dealer, then it's got the first service at 12,000 miles when I got it. Couldn't even ride, and I said I'd done the oil and filter change on it. It's just like a micro car. It takes like a litre, and I think it's 1200 millilitres or something like that, 1.2 litres. which is like a spoonful compared to cars that I've had in the past that have took 6 and 7 litre, some of the big V8 ones. So I'm not shy in doing oil changes. Neither should you be, because it's easy to do and you'll save a fortune if you can do some jobs yourself. So we're coming towards the end of this, and I thought I'd better mention the fact that these engines blow up, as most engines do, if you don't keep an eye on the oil. So check your oil once a week if you're doing long trips, especially. It does use oil, not a great deal, but this is on nearly 18,000 miles now, so that's almost 6,000 miles I've done on it. I've just had a new pair of tyres put on it, 112 for the pair, plus around £70 to fit them, £19 for the battery, as I said. Cheap stuff. So there we go, we've come to the end of my review. Let's round up the scores. So on looks, I'd give this bike 8 out of 10. It's a good looking little bike. There's a couple of better looking ones out there, but in my opinion it's a good looker. On suspension and brakes, it handles well. Suspension's not too soft, nor is it too firm. The brakes are ideal. It's a nice lightweight bike. Not much braking to do really. Never let me down. 9 out of 10. Economy, 280 miles from 11.5 litres of fuel. Bargain. 10 out of 10. Top speed, 87 miles per hour. Well, on the clocks, but to me they're 3 miles per hour out. But still, 84 miles per hour out of 125. It's impressive. 9 out of 10. Value for money, £2 grand. Probably the best £2 I've ever spent in my life. 10 out of 10. Perfect. Enjoy if you buy one. Thanks for watching. Peace out.